Last part of fractions is adding, subtracting, and multiplying fractions and fractions of an amount. Let's start with adding and subtracting fractions. To be able to add and subtract fractions, you need to follow one and only rule, which is find common denominator. Add or subtract, then simplify. Remember, the last step of any fraction will be you have to simplify, even if they didn't ask you to do it. So let's start. If I said 3 halves minus a half, this is equal what? Now look at that. Both denominators are the same, so all what you're going to do is subtract the tops from each other. So it's 3 minus 1 divided by 2. So it's 2 out of 2, which is 1. Done. Another example, if I said 4 out of 9 plus 3 out of 9 equal. So out of 9, 4 plus 3. Why have I done it this way? Because they have the same denominator, so I don't need to do anything here. So 7 out of 9, and I cannot simplify more, so this is my final answer. This is a straightforward one. However, in GCSE exams, they don't come like this. If it came looking that way, a quarter plus 3/5, what do I do? In here, you will find that you have 4 and 5. Both of them are totally different from each other. I need to find what? Yes, common denominator between them. The easiest way is to multiply them to each other. Less work, less time, less mistakes. Look at that. This is 4 and this is 5. So I'll multiply this by 5. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. I'll multiply this by 4. Whatever I do to the denominator, I do to the numerator. By doing this, I've created a new question. The new question is, this is 5 out of 20 plus, look at that, 12 out of 20. Oh, from here, it's really easy to do. I'll leave the 20 in peace, and then 5 plus 12, which is 17. And that's it. This is my final answer. I cannot simplify it anymore because 17 is a prime number. What about if it's subtract? It's the same. Let me show you. So if I said 7 out of 3 minus 3/4 equal what? Okay, so I have 3 and 4. Both of them are not the same, so I'll multiply them together. 3 times 4, 7 times 4. And I'll multiply this by 3 and this by 3. So from here, I've created a new question. 7 times 4, this is 28 out of 12, minus 3 times 3, which is 9 out of 12. And this is equal, I'll leave the 12 as it is. 28 minus 9 is 19. 1 second. 19 out of 12. Can I simplify it more? Yes. 12 and 19. How many 12 and 19? 1. With a remainder, 7 out of 12. That's it. If I left it here, am I going to lose marks? No, unless the question is saying, write your answer in a mixed number, then you have to reach that step. However, if you stopped here, you will still have all of your marks. The trickiest part of this, adding and subtracting fractions, could be when they give you a question like this, 2 1/3 minus 1 2/5. Please make sure that you're taking notes of these. In here, what are these questions? They are mixed fractions. I cannot add or subtract mixed fractions. I have to convert each one of them to improper fraction first. So I'll convert this one. Do you remember how? Yes, I multiply by the bottom, add the top. So it will be 2 times 3, and then I'm adding 1, and it's still out of 3, minus multiply by the bottom at the top. So it's 1 times 5 plus 2 divided by 5, which is equal. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 1, 7. So the question now is 7 out of 3 minus 7 out of 5. The denominators are different. What am I going to do? Multiply them to each other. By doing this, now the question will look different. How? 7 times 5, this is 35 out of 15, minus 7 times 3, which is 21 out of 15, and this is equal 14 out of 15, which is the final answer, because I cannot simplify 14 and 15. Do we get that one? This is only when we add and subtract. So when we add and subtract, we have to find the common denominator. When we are putting fractions in order, we have to find the common denominator. Okay? Let me give you some questions for you to answer, relying on that. If I said 5 out of 6 plus a quarter equal, we said 2/3 minus 4/7 equal, I said 2 3/4 plus 2 4/7 equal, and if we said 3 7/8 minus 1 2/3 equal. Now off you go. Pause the video, try to answer it, and come back to mark it with me. Let's mark it then. I have the first one, 6 and 4. I need to find the common denominator between both of them, so I'm going to multiply them to each other. Whatever I do to the denominator, I do to the numerator. So in here, 5 times 4, which is 20, divided by 24, plus 6 times 1, which is 6, divided by 24. So this is actually 26 out of 24. Now remember, we need to put it in its simplest form, even if the question didn't ask. And to do that, I have always to follow these numbers, 2, 3, 5, 7, crazy 11. These two numbers are even, so I'm going to half them. It's the easiest way for me. Half of 26 is 13, half of 24 is 12. That's it? Yes. Or you can put it in mixed number. How many 12 and 13? 1, with a remainder 1 out of 12. Done. So this is the final answer. One of these. What about this one? Let's see. I will multiply this by 7. I will multiply this by 3. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. 2 times 7, this is 14 out of 21, minus 12 out of 21. So 14 minus 12, this is 2 out of 21, and I leave it like this because I cannot do anything else to it. Now in here, these types of questions, these two needs a bit of work. Why? Because I cannot deal with mixed number. I have to convert it to improper fraction by multiplying, then adding. 2 times 4 is 8, 9, 10, 11. So this is 11 out of 4. Plus, again, another mixed number. I multiplied by the bottom at the top. 2 times 7, which is 14, plus 4. So this is 18 out of 7. Now from here, this is a straightforward step because this is 4 and 7. Multiply this by 7. Multiply that by 7. Multiply this by 4. Multiply this by 4. 4 times 7 is? Yes, it's 28. 11 plus 7 is, times 7 is 77. Plus, this is still 28. 18 times 4 will be 72. Now, all what you need to do is to add them, which will be 149 divided by 28, and you cannot simplify it anymore. Okay, last one here, again, mixed. So I need to deal with them. first before subtracting, correct? So I'll multiply by the bottom, then add the top. 3 times 8, 24, plus 7, 31. So this is 31 out of 8 minus 1 times 3 is 3 plus 2 is 5. So this is 5 out of 3. Both of these fractions got different denominators, so I need to make it common denominator. So I'll multiply them to each other. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. Whatever I do to the denominator, I do to the numerator. Let's deal with this. 31 times 3, this is 93 out of 24 minus 40 out of 24. When you do that, so this is equal 53 out of 24. You can leave it like this, or you can say, well, 24 times table, so you have 24, 48. Oh, okay, so you have 2 24s remaining, 5 out of 24. Done. If you stopped here, okay. If you stopped there, it's still acceptable, as long as they didn't ask you to do it in mixed number. This is adding and subtracting fractions. Now let's do the easiest one, which is multiplying fractions. So to multiply fractions, all what you need to do is what? Follow this. Top times top divided by bottom times bottom. Which means if I said 3/4, 3/5 times a 4 equal. 4 is a whole number. How can I multiply it? All what you need to do is you divide this 4 by 1. Why? Every whole number is divided by 1, but we don't write it. So from this step, all what you're going to do is 3 times 4, which is 12, divided by 5, which is how many 5s and 12s? 2, remaining 2/5. Done. Next one is, okay, if I said 3/4 times 1 out of 6. This is easy. Again, I am multiplying. So it's 3 times 1 divided by 4 times 6, which is equal. 3 times 1 is 3, divided by 24. Now, I need to simplify this. So I need to use the golden numbers, 2, 3, 5, 7, or 11. Can I divide these two by 2? No. Can I divide these two by 3? Yes. So I'll divide this by 3. I'll divide that by 3. So this is 1 out of 24 divided by 3 is 8. So the answer for this question is 1 out of 8. Done. Can it be any trickier? No, actually, the last trick they can give you, if they gave you something like this, 1.5 times 1 3/4. Look at that. Again, remember, mixed numbers, I cannot work with them like this. I have to convert them to improper fractions, then deal with it as normal. So I'll multiply by the bottom at the top. 1 times 2 is 2 plus 1, so this is 3/2, times 1 times 4 is 4 plus 3, 7 out of 4. Then from here, I'm going to multiply as normal. 3 times 7 divided by 2 times 4, which is equal 21 divided by 8. You can stop here, or you can say, okay, how many 8 and 21? 2, remaining 5 out of 8. Well done. Now, if you understood these 3 examples, I'll give you 3 questions for you to answer. Once you answer them correct, you have nailed multiplying fractions. So the first one is 4 out of 5 times 1 out of 6. You have 3/4 times 7 out of 2. And the last one is 2 3/4 times 1.5. Let's see. Pause the video, try to answer it, and then come back to mark it with me. Now, let's do it. In here, it's straightforward job because it's multiplying fractions. 4 times 1 divided by 5 times 6, which is 4 out of 30. Now, both of them are even, so I can halve both of them. The golden numbers, 2, 3, 5, 7, and 11. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 30 divided by 2 is 15. Done. What about this one? Again, 3 times 7 divided by 4 times 2. 21 divided by 8, which is equal, how many 8 and 21? Ah, we've done this question before in a different way. 258. What about here? Oh, look at that. I have two mixed numbers, so I need to convert them. I'll multiply by the bottom, add the top, multiply by the bottom, add the top. 2 times 4 is 8, 9, 10, 11. So this is 11 out of 4 times 1 times 2 is 2 plus 1, it's 3 halves. So this is equal 11 times 3 divided by 4 times 2, which is equal 33 divided by 8, which is equal how many 8 and 33? Yes, it's 4 1/8 when you look at the 8 times 8. Okay, this is all what you need to learn about adding, subtracting, multiplying fractions. Now, last thing is dividing fractions. Look at that. When you divide fractions, you need to follow one rule. You need to follow this. KCHF. Not KFC or not hungry. It's not food, it's math. I'll explain why in a second. K means keep. CH, change. F is for flip. For example, if I said a third divided by a quarter, now it's keep, change, flip. I can hear some learners screaming, no, it's KFC. No, it's not. Tell you why. Keep the first one as it is, which is a third. I'll change the division to multiplication. I'll flip this upside down, so it's 4 out of 1. And from here, this is really easy. It's 1 times 4 divided by 3 times 1, which means it's 4 divided by 3. Done. Another example. If I said 3 divided by a fifth equal. Again, still keep, change, and flip. Keep the first one as it is, so it's 3. Change the division to multiplication, flip this upside down, so it's 5 out of 1, which means it's a 5. So actually, the answer for this question is 15. Done. See, division is really easy. It's not that hard. Last example for this one before I give you questions for you to answer. Hope that you're taking notes. If I said 1.5 divided by 2/3. Now, before doing anything, look at that. The question got a mixed number again, so I need to multiply by the bottom, then add the top. 1 times 2 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So now the new fraction is 3 out of 2, divided by 2/3. Again, follow the same rule, keep, change, flip. I'll keep the first one as it is, change the division to multiplication, and flip this upside down to 3 halves, which is 9 out of 4. And that's it. Actually, you can convert it back to a mixed number. How many 4s and 9s? 2, remaining 1 out of 4, so it's 2.25. If you understood these and you took notes of them, then please try to answer these questions yourselves. If I said 7th divided by 2/5 equal 7/10 divided by 4/5 equal, and the last one is 3/3 divided by 2/4. Now, please pause the video, try to answer these questions, come back and mark them with me. When I do the division, I need to keep the first one, change the division to multiplication, and flip this second fraction. So I'll keep the first as it is, change, and flip it. So it's 5 out of 2, which means that this is 5 out of 14. Done. In here, keep the first one as it is, change the division to multiplication, and flip the second one 5 out of 4, which means from here it's 35 out of 40. 1 second, this is ending with 5 and 0, so I still can simplify it. Divide both by 5, and the answer should be 7 out of 8. Done. What about these ones? These ones are different. They are mixed fractions, so I need to do what? Yes, I need to convert them first. So I'll multiply by the denominator, adding the numerator. So 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1, it's 10/3, divided by, multiply by the denominator, adding the numerator. So 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1, 9 out of 4. From here, I'll keep, change, and flip. So the answer is 40 divided by 27. Which is equal, how many 27 and 40? 1, remaining 13 out of 27. But again, if you stopped here and the question is not asking you to go to a mixed fraction or mixed number, then you've done it correct. Last comment that I need you to be aware of, or rule that I need you to be aware of, if they said, find 2/3 of 40 pounds. 2/3 is 2/3. The word of in math means times 40. And do you remember what we said about whole numbers? All of whole numbers got a denominator of 1, but we don't write it. And from here, it's really easy because actually this is 80 divided by 3. And for you to simplify it, you can do what? Yes, the bus stop method that the majority of you don't like, but you can use it. What times 3 is 8? Well, 3 times 2 is 6 with a remainder, which is 2. Now it's 20. 6 times 3 is 18 with a remainder, which is 2. I'll need a decimal point. So all what I'm going to do is it's 26 remaining 2 out of 3. Done. So again, this is the final answer, or this one, if they didn't ask you to find your answer in a mixed number. That's it for fractions. Thank you.